everybody, welcome to the Riskinator, and I hope you all are having a risk-tastic day. So, I joined the 1v1 tourney, and we are playing on the Asia 1800s map. Not personally my favorite map. I think it made a lot of people feel kind of unsecured, and I think it's like that mostly because of the fact that the map, unlike most maps, we have like an 80% chance of winning when going first. This one lowers it to like 70 maybe. Like, you've got a pretty good chance of winning going second on this map. So it really makes it about strategy here. So I'm practicing against random people. This guy's actually a novice. It's hard. I also practice with people in the Discord, which is great to actually get to practice with them. I'd also like to practice starting second. This guy, I was really able to quickly wipe him out. First of all, he connected his territories quite nicely, and so yeah, and he let me hold like 4 continents, which is, if the other person's going, if the person going second gets continents, it's not such a big deal because you'll just stop them before they get a chance to get troops for them. But if the person going first holds a continent, then it's the end. And so I like how he gives up. He doesn't even try to break through a single continent. He doesn't try to break through Korea. He doesn't try to break through Afghanistan or Tibet. He doesn't try to, or India. He just doesn't try to do anything. He gives up completely. But good game, man. And so, yeah, I just practice against more guys. In this round, I practiced against a beginner, so a little bit of an upgrade. And again, I tried to make sure that all of his territories were as connected as possible, which again was pretty easy to do. He was okay getting his territories connected. Not only that, but as a bonus, he actually let me hold like Thailand area there, Malaysia, Thailand, all those territories. He let me hold that continent there, so that's really great. As you can see, I let him hold Afghanistan, but that's no big issue because since I'm going first, he's not actually going to get any troops for it. So I'm just able to easily wipe him out, guys. No trouble here. Again, he connected his troops, which was a big mistake. And again, I got to start first, which made me really lucky. I'd like to try some games, practice games starting second. He's actually playing more decently than the first novice I played against, because I guess he's beginner. Yeah, he's definitely doing more damage. Also, I wasn't able to eliminate his big army, which is something you definitely want to do on this map, so that's another thing. Although, it was not very smart of him to just try to leave 3s and guard. Like, there's no way you're going to guard it. Your goal is to get as many territories as possible. I'm still not sure if he fully got that concept or not. And also, I'm not sure if he really understood that you gotta try to keep your territories as spread out as possible either. So yeah, this is a very easy victory. I'd like to try against, hopefully I can play against some grandmasters, but it's hard to find grandmasters just on regular global domination that are willing to play. Yes, he's gonna try to do as much damage as possible, but it's kind of too late for him now. Once you get someone receiving less than 6 troops per turn, it's game over. You have to be receiving more than 6 troops per turn. Okay, so yeah, and you also want to, if you're going second, you want to try to get a continent. This is something I paid for quite badly later on. I ended up paying quite badly for not fully grasping the concept, or not fully understanding how important getting a continent was, and how important it is to stop the other player from getting a continent, even if you're going first. So now I actually get to play a practice match against Albin, which is the guy I will be facing in the 1v1 tournament. And so I'm easily able to eliminate his big army there for a very good price. I lose only like half as many as him. And so from this game here, I'm able to win quite easily. It's almost certain my victory. He still got 7, but once I can get it down to 6, pretty certain. Not only that, but I got 29 territories, which is pretty good considering there's about 48-ish, 47, 48 territories on this map. So if you can get 25, then that's basically half. And so from this game, we basically both got the impression that whoever goes first wins on this map. But I would later find out that that was definitely not the case. So on the day of the tournament, both a gush of nervousness and excitement filled me. I wasn't really sure who would have the better luck of going first. I got to start first, so I definitely did not want to waste this opportunity. I just tried to keep my territories together and make sure his were connected too, which I did, I think, a decent job of. Like, look at his territories are pretty connected. If I can get him to like put a territory somewhere in India, that'll fully connect everything, which I'll force him to do that. I'll force him to do that by putting it up higher in China, by Russia, and that'll force him to connect those. And then I'm gonna put, I think a big mistake here was putting 3 troops in Korea and Japan. I should have just went all out with my 13 in India, but that is only the first of many mistakes I make this round. Albin ends up placing his army on, okay, so he ends up placing it right in Tibet. I'm able to go right, and he loses 13, I only lose 6, and it's usually game over if you get their biggest army, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I got a pretty good chance to win here, right? What could go wrong? A few bad blitz rolls, but what could go wrong? And also, I'm stopping him from holding Japan, and I got a pretty good chance of holding Korea. So he's not able to do very much damage, especially considering it's his first turn ever. Right now, I've got like a huge advantage, but what I do here is a big mistake. I underestimate how long it will take to get to Afghanistan. I put my troops all the way in Canton, and yeah, I'm not able to stop him from getting Afghanistan. Although I wasn't too worried about it. I didn't like put any troops there because at this point in the game, or at this point, I did not fully understand how important continents were if you're going second. I thought, oh, it's only 2 troops, right? What can that do? But boy, was I wrong. So again, he's got Afghanistan. I should ideally be breaking into that, but for some reason, I don't really worry too much about Afghanistan. Instead, I just try, and then I get the manual there, which is also a real downside. So what I just try to do is I try to get as many territories as I can, but I don't really worry about Afghanistan, which is, and then as soon as I see the 15 troops, I know it's game over. I'm like, shoot, what did I do wrong there? And then, even then, I wasn't quite sure what I did wrong at that point. I was like, huh? How did he get 15 troops? Maybe I let him hold Indonesia as well. This is like my last stand here. I still get 10 troops, so it's my last stand. But again, I don't put a lot of effort into getting Afghanistan. I only put 3 troops there, which is usually enough, but if I was really serious, I would have put 4. And again, I took the wrong route, so I wasn't able to stop him from getting Japan. I was kind of lazy about that, and just really neglecting how important holding a continent is if you're going second. And so because of that, Albin eventually overpowers me, and so having a continent is more important than, it seems having an extra continent is more important than starting first on this map. So yeah, I realize it's game over at this point. Not just game over, but tournament over. Like, at this point, I felt quite crushed. It's usually a pattern. I start first, Albin, Albin. So I had a feeling that Albin was going to start first next round, and all he had to do was to win going first. And sure enough, he did start first. And so I knew all he had to do. He had 2 points already. First to 3 wins. All he has to do is win starting first, which shouldn't be too difficult at all. He's got this game in the bag. I don't think he'll blunder the same way I did, right? So at this point, I am quite crushed and quite defeated. And I know that I'm like, why even bother, right? Defeat's basically around the corner. So anyhow, I go in, not with too high expectations anymore. I realized the big mistake I did, how I blunted the game by letting him hold Afghanistan. And so I still try my best, of course. I still try to spread out my territories as much as possible. So let's put this final territory right here. So guys, I luckily was able to get a continent, the Tibet area there, but that doesn't really help me because I still have to, he's still gonna break into it obviously. So I don't worry about protecting that, right? I just decided to put all my troops into one big army, but then I quickly realized that I didn't expect him to put his army in Japan there. One mistake he did make, which shocked me though, is the fact that he didn't put all of his troops in Japan. Like, those were unfortunate blitz rolls, but I would have definitely put all my troops in Japan, especially starting first. You gotta put all your troops in one place. That's the mistake I made the first round. And he put 4 troops to try to stop me from holding a continent, which I guess was smart enough, which he didn't end up doing anyhow. And then I think it was kind of strategic where I placed my place in North Korea, because he had troops in Manchuria, so even if he stops me in North Korea and takes out my biggest army, he can't really go anywhere, right? So I kind of blocked him either way, but I think I put it in a pretty good place. Hey everyone, so at this point he kind of gives up. I wouldn't give up yet. You could still do some damage with 6 troops. You could still break in my continent. But it looks like he's, given up. And so, again, there's a real importance in holding a continent. I definitely realized that this round. And yeah, I guess that was smart enough to try to stop me from holding Tibet and putting the extra 4 troops there. But still, I wouldn't have then blitzed that army. I would have just waited until I had full force to blitz the army. But again, those were really bad blitz rolls. Even 19 on 17, he still should have taken it. That's the thing. It's hard from South Korea to attack North Korea. It's almost like North Korea has a little capital on it. So this is the final game, and I am fortunate enough to start first. I actually feel some hope now because I'm like, okay, I started first. So now we're 2-2, and if I can win this game, I will advance on. But the problem with this is that so far, whoever starts first has been losing. So in that case, it's kind of a bad thing to start first. So I'm not really sure if it's an advantage or not. So I'm just really trying my best here to, again, connect my territories as much and as I can, make sure his territories are connected as well. And he will try to spread out his territories as much as possible. At this point, I basically force him to connect all his troops from Manchuria all the way to Thailand. I basically, okay, not the 3 in Manchuria, but I have basically made a big pathway with all of his armies. And so of course this time I decided to make no mistakes and to go all in and just place my big army as one big powerful force. When I see his 17 there, I decide it's too far away to try to go over and do damage. I'm just going to do my own thing, get as many territories as I can, and since I'm going first, I'm going to try to blitz his army once I arrive with whatever's left. And maybe the fact that the attackers have an advantage will cancel out the fact that the bigger army usually wins. So I just go try to put a big dent, and instead of just trapping his army, I try to attack his army to give his army as little power as possible. It was totally worth it, even if I didn't lose 10-10, which was a very good ratio. I was really happy with that, especially considering I was attacking with a way smaller army. So I was really happy with, the 10-10. And so I was able to put a big dent. That's 10 less territories he's able to take. And I get really good blitz rolls this battle. And so at this point, he realizes it's over. And so I end up advancing. But Albin played it very well. I'm impressed. He smoked me the first round, even though I got to start first. And I was just lucky enough to beat him the second round, starting second because of his bad blitz rolls. But yet he beat me, even though I should have theoretically won the first round, and I had the first round and he beat me. So good game, Albin. Albin is the king of progressive cards, and he is also not bad at 1v1s either. Subscribe to the Riskinator, like this video, comment down below, and as always, have a risk-tastic day.